I'm really excited to talk to you today. I've kind of been inspired. The pastor at our church right now is doing a study on God's design for the family, and he's kind of camped out in a few verses over the past few weeks that God has just really inspired me to really do a little more research in and to really delve deeply. And so my plan is to kind of share with you today just the beginnings of what God's teaching me, and then over the next few weeks to build upon that. So first I want to read you the verse, and I'm reading out of Deuteronomy 6:4-9. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. These commandments that I give to you today are to be upon your heart. Impress them to your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hand and bind them on your forehead. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. I think sometimes as parents, especially as homeschooling parents, we get so wrapped up in the teaching and the how to teach our children the disciplines that God has for them that we sometimes fail to get off the starting block. We go through and look through all the bookshelves at Lifeway to find the perfect family devotion for us to do at our family worship time. And we debate whether we should do hymns or we should do praise songs in worship in our family worship, or we should do both, or somebody should learn the piano so we can have an instrument, or should we find a really object lesson kind of curriculum, or should we just teach the scripture and memorize the scripture? And we get so busy debating back and forth the apologetics of doing it one way or another that we fail to just get off the starting block and do it. I feel like that's what Deuteronomy is saying here, that we're being told, quit majoring on all of the details. You don't have to brush up on all of your theology today to be able to talk to your children during the day. You need to be. We all need to be growing, and we need to be teaching out of what God is teaching us. But we can't use that as our excuse for why we begin to do what we need to do for our families and teaching our children. It says that we need to be doing it when we lay down and we rise up, and when we're walking along the way, when we're going to soccer practice, when we're cooking dinner, when they're going to bed, when we pass by someone on the street who is asking for money, and they watch and see how we react out of our knowledge of what Jesus Christ has called us to do. The way they see us live our lives and talk to people along the way, the way we treat them. I know that this bind them on your forehead and write them on your doorpost is kind of a cultural thing in Scripture, but I also really, God spoke to me this week to say the way that I can do it in my culture, in this place that I live, the way I bind His Word on my body and write it on my forehead is by the way I live my life. It's the way my kids see me respond in situations. They often say that you can read how someone feels across their face. My kids can read in my face how I feel about something. So the way that I'm writing on my forehead the scriptures of the Lord is that when I see the person at Walmart who really needs me to stop and witness to them, even though my kids are tired and it's been a long day and I just want to get home, they're watching what's written on my forehead. Is it written on my forehead selfish, or is it written on my forehead servant of the Lord, who's called by the Great Commission to be preaching the gospel to everybody, everywhere? I think that we need to really be focusing on a daily basis, not on all of the details, not on all of the things that can really mess up a good family worship, and instead just be focusing on doing it, teaching your kids. Please hear me that I'm not saying don't schedule a family worship time. In the Davis household, a set family worship time is super important to us. But what is even as important as having a set time where we sit with our kids and do and really seek to study the Lord is that they see that He's not only given Sundays, Wednesdays, and our family worship day, that the Lord is actually given every day, every hour, every minute of our lives. And the way that we are teaching them and discipling them is how we spend every second, every minute, every hour of every day serving the Lord. So I really want to encourage you this week. I want to really challenge you this week to first find a time to have a family worship time, even if you're just praying and reading the Proverbs for the day. And second, to make sure that you're taking captive every single minute of the day to be training your children to be more like Christ. I look forward to sharing more with you of what God's teaching me through Deuteronomy. I hope you're having a great week.